Welcome to Super Rant Season 1 Doomsday Preppers. Here we rewatch superhero movies to explore how they build towards bigger stories, starting with Avengers Doomsday and the MCU. Welcome back to Super Rant. As always, my name is Brian, and I am happy to be here.
My name is Kevin, and I'm a lead writer for Screen Rant, covering all things superheroes, Star Wars, and all kinds of fun stuff.
Today we are talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which came out in what year, Kevin?
2017.
2017. Well, all right. This movie, I think this movie is highly underrated. I know a lot of people really like it, but I feel like when you're ranking movies, this one kind of tends to be lower. But on a rewatch, it's a good time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We watched it together, and it was incredibly fun. I hadn't seen it in a little while, and it's just the themes are good, the visuals are good, great character moments, great character development. Yeah, like you said, super underrated.
Definitely.
Where do you think you would rank it?
I think maybe moved up higher on my ranking after a rewatch.
Yeah.
Like 1 out of 10?
Yeah, 1 out of 10.
Oh, I'd probably give it like an 8. Like an 8.
Yeah. No, that sounds about right to me.
I think that as a standalone movie, maybe it doesn't work as well.
I could see that.
Definitely builds on a lot of the themes from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's good. I think it's really well done. I'm looking forward to eventually watching Volume 3 because that's my favorite out of the trilogy.
Yeah, rank the trilogy for me.
But yeah,
which one's your favorite?
Just continues to. Well, no, we'll do that when we watch Volume 3.
Okay, sure.
We'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's a good time, and I think that if we're gonna find anything wrong with this movie, we gotta get pretty nitpicky. But let's start with the good. What are your top 3 favorite things about this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy all the thematic connections. Obviously, the big focus on this one is family, sons and fathers, sisters. It's throughout the entire thing. You've got Gamora and Nebula and their whole conflict and connection. You have Ego, and he finally finds Peter as his father, and he's presenting himself. He's a living planet, but he's presenting himself as the father, Peter Quill always wished he had, which is like this David Hasselhoff figure, and they cast Kurt Russell, which I think is hilarious. And so there's issues with that whole reconnection based upon what Ego really wants. And then you have even all of the Guardians with Groot. Like, Baby Groot is definitely they kind of create this father-son dynamic between Groot and Star-Lord by the end of it, and I always think that's just awesome, and that I think that plays really well thematically.
Yeah,
and then you get at the end of it with Yondu. There are so many, specific scenes.
Yeah,
you have to do like Yondu and Rocket breaking out with the arrow. That's such an awesome scene. It's just visually, it's cool. It's got a great needle drop. Super fun. Super, super fun. I'm also a pretty big fan of...
Yeah,
Gamora and Nebula's fight. I think that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. I would echo a lot of what you had to say. Definitely the theming, definitely the Yondu scene. The opening scene is great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But honestly, I think my favorite part of this movie is just the soundtrack. I think as we look at all 3 movies, I think my favorite soundtrack is the one from Volume 2.
It's pretty solid.
Think as a comprehensive album, it just from start to finish, every single time they use, music in the movie, I think it absolutely slaps.
Yeah.
So Mr. Blue Sky at the beginning, Brandy is actually a story moment, which is super cool. I think that the chain is a great moment in the movie. There's just a lot of A lot of really awesome moments. And so I just, for me, the soundtrack kind of makes this movie.
No, absolutely.
Um, but yeah, let's move into some of the nitpicky things. So if you had to be nitpicky with this movie, what's something that could have taken it to a 9 or a 10?
Yeah, I think this movie does a lot of like telling instead of showing at some points, like specifically with Ego and like his whole origins. Like they do that whole thing where he's got like the monument, like the statue thing that moves and kind of like tells the story, but I don't know if that's enough. I maybe would have liked to have seen some more solid flashbacks and stuff. But they're also having to do with like they probably wanted to limit their de-aged Kurt Russell, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's just one thing that kind of was like, meh. I'm trying to think of some other things that could have been better.
Well, I think that I would have liked to see more of like either Ego's character or Star Lord's character like creating things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like before they start fighting, there isn't a lot of like actual like creation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think specifically I would have liked to see like Ego create other life,
Oh, sure.
because later on in the series when we start talking about like Mantis and like where she came from, like it's kind of like retconned a little bit that like, oh, Ego created me, you know.
Right, right.
And so it would have been cool if we were able to see something along the lines of like him being able to do that.
Definitely, definitely. That's a good point.
But anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about some Doomsday
Yeah,
Connection. Something that I was thinking about is in the comics that Doomsday and Secret Wars are being based off of. Doom uses a single person to hold his universe together,
yeah.
right? To hold his new world
Mm-hmm.
together. And so I was thinking about, okay, well, in this movie, we have Ego, and when Ego dies, his world falls apart.
Yeah,
And so I was thinking about who in the MCU right now could Doom go after in Doomsday that would keep his universe from falling apart?
I mean, right off the bat, I want to say Loki.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think depending on how you go about powers and abilities,
Mm-hmm.
Sentry could be that person.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah,
Um, Wanda could be that person,
yeah. Wanda makes a lot of sense.
especially if she's not in Doomsday,
And that's like a big
but
reveal.
she's in Secret Wars. She could have already been captured by
Yeah,
Doom.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also just either Wanda or Loki
But
because
then
Loki's
also,
the way Loki's left in season 2 that absolutely sets him up for a role like that.
well, yeah, because he's already holding a universe
Exactly.
together. But then we've talked before about the idea of the anchor beings. And Kevin Feige has said in the past that he's really excited about that idea. And so, what if, like, Doom uses the anchor beings of different universes and then uses Loki to hold it all together?
Yeah. See, that could be really really cool. Maybe one thing that I was thinking of is so like the Fantastic Four. We know based on like trailers and post credit
Sure.
scenes and the whole thing that they are going to be traveling to Earth 616 in a ship, right? And they're traveling the multiverse. There's going to be multiverse connection.
Yep.
In this one, they really kind of introduce kind of like
Yep.
the inner workings of space travel in the MCU, and a lot of it is like these jump points, right? These manufactured wormholes. It's kind of their version of light speed, right? So I'm wondering, like,
Yeah.
if we might see something similar with like multiversal jump points. Could be interesting. As just
Oh,
another
okay. Yeah, well,
as just another
so
method of
in
traveling the multiverse that makes sense for like Reed Richards to have figured out.
yeah, well, I mean, in the Marvels, they open up a wormhole like that.
That's exactly what I was thinking of because I mean, it wasn't intentional, but they created a whole rift, and then Monica ended up in another universe. Could be interesting. I was just something I was thinking about as we were, when they do that hilarious scene where they jump through like 600 jump points.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, do we know if any of the Guardians are gonna be in Doomsday?
No one has been confirmed yet. The one character who's like the most hoped for and maybe possibly would be Star Lord, just because he's the only character who's kind of been like, teased, promised, however you want to look at it, just like teased to return, based on how the end of 3 goes. And as far as we know, by the time of Doomsday, Star Lord should be
Sure.
on Earth.
Yeah.
So, but again, he hasn't been confirmed as part of the cast at all. So maybe they're saving it for Secret Wars. Who knows?
Okay. Well, yeah.
I'd love to see a whole
Can you
Guardians
think of any other
roster in
way?
Secret Wars, but we'll see what happens. What were you saying?
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. And like bring
Oh
Yondu
my
back.
gosh. Yeah, just different variants. Yeah,
Oh, that'd
absolutely.
be awesome. Yeah. Can you think of any other way that this movie might apply to Doomsday though?
I'm trying to think because it's very like, it's a Guardians movie. It's very space, cosmic heavy. Um, I mean, Ego is a celestial, and we see more of the celestials in like Eternals and stuff like that. I mean, if you want to talk about more about like Doom needing some serious power, they have not introduced the idea of Beyonders, which is where he gets a lot of his power in the comics to like remake reality. But hey, maybe they just swap it out with Celestials. Who knows?
Yeah, it's not a bad
Could
idea.
be interesting. And maybe that's their loose way of kind of involving like stuff from the first Eternals movie, which, you know, for the most part, I think they're kind of they
Yeah,
kind
which
of
who
want to
knows
leave
if we're
that in
ever
the
gonna
rear
get
view based on
any follow up.
based on the reception. I don't know if they'll follow up too hard on Eternals.
Well, okay. Let's go ahead and move on then. Take us into some news.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you. I watched it a little while ago, but did you finish Spider Noir?
I'm still one episode away from being
Nice.
done.
How are you liking it so far?
But I've really enjoyed it. I think it's a good time. I've watched it in black and white because I think that's the way that you should watch it first, and then eventually I'll go back and I'll watch it in color for a second.
Yeah, I
run
started
through.
rewatching it in color.
But it's all right. I think that that there's a lot of good acting. I think that they maybe lean into Nicolas Cage's sometimes poor acting
Or just his
and just kind of allow him to be the weird dude that
the
he kind of
eccentric
is.
Cage ness of him. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are times where I'm like, man, he's a good actor, and there are other times where I'm like, how did he become an
You're like,
actor?
what was that?
And it's just like, it's yeah. And, I always think whenever I'm watching a Nick Cage movie, I think of that Community
Exactly.
episode where Abed takes a class on Nick Cage and he can't determine whether or not
Nicolas
he's a good
Cage,
actor.
good or bad?
And it's like, I really don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, he's so unique, and I think that's what I love about him.
But my favorite elements of the movie are the Spider-Man stuff, like how he got his powers, and the web swinging is really cool, and the way that they go about using his abilities is really cool. And so
Yeah.
I think it's a fun Spider-Man show. I think it's
Totally.
great.
I'm really hoping we see more shows like Noir with like other variants and stuff. That'd be really, really cool. Did you see
Yeah, it'd be a good time.
the gameplay footage they released for Wolverine?
Oh my goodness, it looks brutal.
It looks brutal
I'm really
and
excited.
awesome. It's super fun. I'm excited to see like what Insomniac does with games beyond Spider-Man. Should be pretty dang awesome. I'm stoked.
Yeah, dude.
Um.
Well, I mean, if we want to get into video game news, there's a lot out there. that
Oh
we can
yeah,
talk
there's a
about.
ton. I just wanted to talk about Wolverine just a little bit. But yeah, next week, Spider-Man Brand New Day tickets go on sale. We'll probably get a new trailer along with it next week, so that'll be fun to talk about.
Watch out for leaks.
Yeah.
There's a rumor going around that the entire movie got leaked and that somebody's gonna release it here pretty soon. So just watch out
Yeah,
for that.
definitely. Other than that, I think we're starting to see some like more like merch stuff, like Spider-Man stuff is dropping, but also more Doomsday stuff. Because if you remember, Doomsday was supposed to come out much earlier
Well,
this year, so they've been holding on
yeah,
to
it's on its
they've been
way.
holding onto a lot of stuff. So there's been some light reveals here and there. But yeah, I think that's
Well,
about
let's talk
everything.
about. Hold on. Let's talk about Brand New Day for another
Okay.
second. I think that I think it would be massively unfortunate if Sadie Sink turns out to be Jean Grey. Not because I don't like Sadie Sink, but more because I think that they should wrap up the X-Men stuff with Doomsday before they get into other X-Men
Hmm.
stuff.
I think I would agree with you.
But that being said,
I think I would. Yeah.
I think she is playing Jean Grey.
Yeah. No, I think she is too. And I think normally I would agree with you, but they've already done a few different things to like already seed the X-Men and like mutants in the main MCU. So it's kind of like, well, they've already started. So they clearly that's kind of what they want to continue doing until they're ready to like finally debut them, you know?
Well, yeah, I just think it's kind of weak to introduce like such a core X-Men in a Spider-Man movie when like I really want this Spider-Man movie to be like super Peter Parker focused, and I don't want like that focus to be taken away by X-Men stuff because I'm really excited for X-Men
Yeah.
stuff, but like I would rather it not be in a like I would rather not it get in the way of my Spider-Man movie.
I mean, sure, I think that's a valid concern. Then again, it's kind of like a classic MCU thing. I mean, when did Spider-Man and Black Panther first debut? In Captain America Civil War. Now, yes, you can argue that Civil War is different because it's like a big
Yeah.
Avenger, more of a like an Avengers crossover. But still, it's kind of part of the MCU playbook to like introduce new characters before giving them their own movies.
Well, but if if you think about it, that kind of messed up the Spider-Man like the way that they went about doing Spider-Man though, because they had to go back and they had to like figure out a way to make, so, like we never got Uncle Ben, we never got like to see him get bit by the spider. And it's like not that we need to see that, but like those parts of the story were kind of just like swept under the rug.
Yeah. I mean, I have to wonder how much of that I feel like was pretty intentional and not wanting to show Uncle Ben in the spider bite. But no, I get what you're saying.
Anyways, we'll find out in the near future what's going on with Spider-Man. But for now, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode. Next week we're on Spider-Man
Yeah.
Homecoming, which is just a phenomenal movie. I'm really excited to watch again. So make sure you watch that before coming back for next week's episode, and we'll see you next time.
Catch you later.
Thank you for listening to Super Rant Season 1 Doomsday Preppers. Look out for our following episode next Friday. And remember to watch the upcoming movie before listening. You can find a link to our watch schedule on our YouTube page.